then spin 1, a photon. What have you achieved? So n equal to 2 supergravity theory is a theory that unifies electromagnetism with gravity theory. This is what Einstein wanted to do. So you see, I am just telling you without any mathematical derivations, just the concepts that if at all, hopefully it comes out very well, this efforts of recording, then I will put it on my YouTube channel, which you people can look again and again and again and again. Try to look and find out my mistake. Write back to me, sir, you made this mistake. Or you please explain it further, I want to know it further. That is the advantage of this. See, I'm not going to replace Mr. Devanand or Mr. Dharmendra or any other superhero of the day. I'm just a teacher, I'm just a student. I want to learn and I want to communicate back to students. I feel, like your Bandari Saab said, you feel very excited if you have learned something which you want to tell your students. You think, oh, you have done something very great. So, in this process, n equal to 8 supergravity theory is a kind of a complete theory which would unify everything. So, here what is the content? आप मेरे साथ एक एक्सरसाइज करिए हल्की सी, दो में से आधा कम कीजिए, फिर आधा कम कीजिए, फिर आधा कम कीजिए, फिर आधा कम कीजिए. क्या होगा? +2, then +3 half, then +1, then +1 half, then 0. 0 would be, this is a particle with a spin 0, that would be Higgs boson. Again you annihilate it by your 8 supercharges. Then you will have -1 half, -1, -3 half and -2. So this is a complete super multiplet of n equal to 8 supergravity theory. You might say, sir, why did you stop at n equal to 8, why not 16? Then I would end up postulating particles with a spin higher than +2, higher than that of graviton. उसकी आज जरूरत नहीं है, जब आप लोग मेरे स्टेज में आएंगे then you can do it further. और much earlier you can do it. तब देखिए कि क्या होता है, उसके बदले आप उसका नया नाम दीजिए अपने नाम से, एंड इट्स पॉसिबल, मैथमेटिकली इट्स पॉसिबल, ओके, इट्स डूएबल. लेकिन पहले मुझे n equal to 1, n equal to 2, n equal to 4, n equal to 8 सुपर ग्रेविटी थ्योरी की कैलकुलेशन समझना है. व्हाट हैपेंस? आई जस्ट टेल यू एन एग्जांपल दैट इफ वी मेक ए कैलकुलेशन, रियलिस्टिक कैलकुलेशन of a photon scattering to photon. So photon going to photon. I do it in n equal to 1 supergravity theory and I do it in n equal to 2 supergravity theory. There would be several Feynman diagrams. If I sum up all those results, the n equal to 1 supergravity theory calculation would give a divergent result to me for the scattering amplitude of photon going to photon. Photon आप लोग समझते हैं, photon striking with another, hitting another photon and again going to photon, like you people do in Holi, right? You dance together, eat together and so on. You can do all kind of mischiefs, right? So this photon going to photon. If I do the same calculation in n equal to 2 supergravity theory, in n equal to 1, you always, but sir told you the contents of the standard model, then I told you contents of a supersymmetric standard. For each theory, try to count the number of particles, contents of the theory. So here, in n equal to 2 supergravity theory, I will have 2 gravitinos with spin +3 half. And in n equal to 8, I would have even. So then I would have 1, 8, 18, something like, you can calculate, permutation combination formulas, we learned it in school. So 8C0, 8C1, 8C2, 8C3, 8C4, 8C5, 8C6, 8C7. 8C8 would be just the same as 8C0. So 1. Then, so NCR is factorial n divided by factorial r into factorial n minus r. That is the definition of a commutation of what you call it. You can find out. See, the
combination.
Everything does not come to mind.
Permutation and combination.
Permutation and combination. See, so you can calculate it. So this would be 2 1, 8, 18, then maybe 28, then 56, then 70. 70 scalars with spin 0. This would have this unique Higgs boson would now no longer be unique. It would have 70 of those Higgs boson. Now you have to discover the masses of all of them, and you have to invent their couplings like the electronic charge. So it's a huge exercise. We need one lifetime is not enough to do it. But as you move towards these things, you find that divergences start cancelling as you go to higher and higher symmetries, and you do them carefully. What happens? So n equal to 8 supergravity theory will combine all the fundamental forces of nature. There would be several new things at our hand which we have to understand. So there will be 256 particles. The content would be 256. You just sum 8C0 plus 8C1 plus up to 8C8. Just sum all of them, it would be 256 or something like this. So one has to find their masses, one has to find their couplings, one has to look at all the Feynman diagrams. I'm not showing them. I do have some of them in my laptop, in my room, but it will become too much. Just knowing some idea, my aim was to transfer some ideas to you. If you can pick up some ideas at this stage, as you advance with time, maybe you will try to understand them further, and maybe you will turn out to be a very well-known great person. Okay. Now, of course, you don't become good or great physicist by doing these things, but just as an example to encourage you people. But you will reach at a better and better understanding. Let me say, as a student, I also consider myself as a student. We want to arrive at a better and better understanding of the things around us, of the nature. So this would then be a theory which would have my well-known gravity theory, which would also have my well-known quantum theory. Everything would be there. And so, I mean, you will have graviton and gravitinos. Now, people like you who have more inclination towards doing experimentation, may not be today, but sometime later, you might think in terms of inventing or discovering some experimental tabletop kind of experiment. मैं यहाँ बैठ के कोई experiment कर सकता हूँ. Can I try to experimentally discover a gravitino? This would help resolve many things. It would establish supersymmetry, idea of supersymmetry theory, idea of supergravity theory. And let me tell you that this supergravity theory, if we like, we could interpret it as a good candidate theory of quantum gravity of zero-dimensional particles and fields. So far, I have never increased I'm staying with zero-dimensional vortices in QED theory, in field theory. 3 particles, when they meet, 3 bird lines, when they meet, there is a vertex, and this is a zero-dimensional. So electron, positron, photon. Electron, positron annihilating to give a photon, and so on. These are 8 fundamental diagrams of QED theory. But they are all zero-dimensional vortices. Now, let me tell you something very interesting, and then we try to combine it with this. So far, I have taken 1 hour. Could you allow me a few more minutes? Maybe not more than 10? Okay? As a bonus. So I try to finish in 10 minutes, okay? Don't worry, before it becomes dark, I should be able to leave you, okay? I think I started around 4:30, so just 10 more minutes, please give me. There is a Coulomb law of force, there is a Newton's law of force. Coulomb law of force talks about Q1, Q2 by R square. The force is given by Q1, Q2 by R square. Gravitational force is given by M1, M2 by R square. Here they are electrical charges or electrostatic charges. M1, M2 are gravitational charges. So there is one thing, this I am talking of school level physics. So Q1, Q2 by R square, when R goes to 0, it's a highly singular, force is highly singular. What happens when R goes to 0? Fortunately, there was a uncertainty principle, Heisenberg uncertainty principle, which came to our help and rescue it smeared out the singularity caused by the singularity at r equal to 0 in the Coulomb force. What about gravitational force? This is also singular at r equal to 0, m1 m2 by r square. You cannot think of a particle sitting on the top of another particle. But here there is no uncertainty principle. So I try to generalize the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So delta x is h cross by delta p plus a constant alpha prime times delta p by h cross. This alpha prime is known as the slope of the radial trajectory. You could ask Garima ma'am more about it. So this is the universal constant. And square root of alpha prime is of the order of 10 to the power minus 33 centimeters. With the generalization of my uncertainty principle, what will happen? That when delta x goes to 0, delta p would not go to infinity, as it used to happen in particle physics in the standard model. When delta x goes to 0, delta p goes to infinity. And that is the region of the infinity involved in the calculation of the Feynman diagrams. Here, but one has to pay the price. Now, the zero-dimensional vertex becomes a vertex spread in space-time. This is possible only if I have one-dimensional objects which are called as strings. That is the origin of the so-called string theory. So one-dimensional object or a loop, when it travels, it sweeps out. It's a one-dimensional string. It travels, it sweeps out a sheet. If it were a loop, like a